What do Charizard and Batman have in common? It might be more than you think. Welcome back to another installment of Krabby's Cards. If you're like me, whenever Nick, aka the Pokey Plumber, posts a video, it is an automatic watch. And today, in his latest video, he talked about something that it was only for like a minute, maybe 90 seconds. And I wanted to expand on it because it's something that I never really thought about in depth, right? So when we look at Pokemon as an IP, the whole scope, not just the cards, but the whole, the characters, the stories, the games, just everything, right? What is the closest comparison of something long term that we have? The only thing that we can really use as kind of a marker is comic books and DC and Marvel characters. We look at those those characters and those companies, and what do we have? We have huge nostalgia. We have iconic characters. We have cultural staying power. We have just amazing storytelling, right? We have all kinds of different media with movies and comic books and shows and books and whole parks named after them. Sound familiar? We have all that stuff. And when you look at Marvel and DC and even like Star Wars, right? There's fans of all ages, right? Like from age 2, 3 years old, all the way up to basically like 90 now, right? 100, right? How like any age, name your age, right? And that's because those companies, Marvel and DC, those IPs are 70, 80, 90 years old. Star Wars is what, like 50 or 60 years old. So we're really looking into the future when we see those companies and where they are today. And even with the ebbs and flows that they've had, the staying power is so strong, right? Like Batman's not going anywhere, right? They're going to keep making movies forever. Star Wars isn't going anywhere. Marvel isn't going anywhere. Like it's such a good comparison that I've never thought about, and it just makes me so bullish and so excited for the future of Pokemon, right? Because Pokemon has the exact same ingredients as all of those IPs, right? You can't tell me that Pikachu and Charizard and Mewtwo and Dragonite and Rayquaza and Mew and Umbreon aren't as popular and as recognizable as Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Like they are. Like there might be more kids around the world now that recognize Pikachu and Charizard over some of those other characters. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still incredibly popular. But and the thing that Pokemon has done a good job at is keeping it also just family friendly, but while still having a good story and still, being edgy a little bit with some different Pokemon, right, that are a little more a little more serious or a little more like, on the evil side and stuff like that. They've done Pokemon like Darkrai, like Evil and Giratina. Like they still do, cool looking kind of villains. We have Team Rocket, right? Just like we have the villains in, Batman, Spider-Man. Let's be honest, the villains often carry the comic books, like the Marvel and DC storylines, right? But if you don't have a good villain, you don't have anything. But we just look at now, like look at the products, look at the cards. When we look at comic books, graded comic books, and this is kind of what the Pokey Plumber talked about, right? You have your Superman ones, your Batman ones, your Spider-Man number ones, and first appearances of Hulk and Wolverine and all these going for millions of dollars, graded in high condition, right? You have raw copies of these books selling for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're in good condition. And despite them printing a ton of them, there's not a whole lot in good condition. Sound familiar, right? Look, we already grade the cards. I fully believe it's already here. If you watched Rusty TCA Gaming's video from like a week ago, they're already starting to authenticate and grade booster boxes now. which is just huge for I mean, just massive, right? So that's already starting, just like graded comic books. But the attrition is so much higher of booster boxes than comic books, right? Yeah, they got mangled and shredded that way, but not physically like destroyed, right? Like when you have a booster box, I'm going to spoil the pickup of the day. When you have a booster box, like once this is opened, this collectible part of this box is gone, right? Like you open this and that's what's a Cosmic Eclipse box at now? 4K? That's just you have the loose packs, and if you open the packs, then you have what the value of the cards, and this just becomes gone, right? You don't have people taking an original, what was it, 1941 Batman comic book and just shredding it in a blender, right? Like that's what's literally happening with modern Pokemon, right? Well, not just modern. People are doing crazy box breaks all the time of vintage stuff. So with everything getting mangled like that, like just the future of Pokemon is so crazy to think about. If it follows, we're at 30 years. What happens at 50, 60 years when there's just so little of this stuff left and we have it authenticated and we have it, the IP going as strong as it's ever been? Like, it's just crazy. There's so many similarities. Like the large, like they printed a ton of comic books back then. Like during the golden age, they printed a ton because demand was very high, right? So you have large print runs, you have the grading aspect, right? You have grading culture, you have speculation, right? You have all the money bros coming in and doing all that stuff. It's like, it's exactly the same. And I just never thought that we already had a blueprint so similar and so close with these iconic characters. And that's really what drives it, right, guys? Like without Batman and Joker and Riddler and Superman and Lex Luthor and Spider-Man and Venom and Green Goblin, like those good characters are what drive. That's why we go see the movies. That's why we read the comic books, right? That's why we play the games. And Pokemon has all that, and they have over 1,000 characters, right? With hundreds of great ones, right? Yeah, there's some throwaways, but just like anything, there's just Batman has Kite Man, just like we have what's Stunkfish, right? Is that the most hated Pokemon? Is that the worst one? Can we all agree that Stunkfish is the worst Pokemon? Anyway, let me know down below. But yeah, guys, I don't know, man. He talked about that, and he didn't make a big deal out of it, and he just talked about it for like a minute, and I was like, whoa, that's it. Like everyone wants to compare Pokemon to sports cards. I think that's a terrible comparison. Like with sports cards, sports is so, yes, sports is going to be here forever and be popular and everything, but sports players are so volatile and so now, right? Like now in the moment, like this guy just scored a hat trick. This guy just hit 3 home runs. This guy scored 3 touchdowns. Like everyone's going to buy his card. Well, and then he gets hurt and he's out for the year and his stuff goes to nothing, right? Like that's what happens with so much sports. And there's very few players that become iconic and stay forever, right? And it's a guessing game and everything. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that. I just thought it was a really interesting thought that Nick had, and yeah, it just really got me. I was at work and I was watching it on my lunch break, and it just really got the wheels turning, and I was like, I got to talk about this. So, but anyway, I already spoiled it. But let me know down below. Do you think that Pokemon is similar to comic book characters and will follow that same trajectory? Let me know what you think down below. Am I way off base, or I think that he's on to something. So, and then kind of in honor of the Pokeplumber, we picked Cosmic Eclipse for today's Krabby's Collector Corner because I believe I think it's his favorite set, if not like top 3. Just man, beautiful box. We got Blastoise and Piplup. We got Solgaleo and Lunana. And then we got Arceus, Dialga, Palkia. And then we got all the small but mighty trio on the top, but just a beautiful box. One of the best sets of all time. One of the largest sets of all time. I think it's like 283 cards or something like that. Trainer gallery, just awesome. This is my one and only in my collection. Not only my only Cosmic Eclipse no, I have a couple packs in the Arceus V collection boxes. So not my only Cosmic Eclipse, but yeah, just awesome. I hope I never get rid of this, but we'll see what happens. Who knows? Who knows what it'll be one day, right? So anyway, if you liked what you heard and saw, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you all so much. We're getting close to 500 subscribers. I can't believe it. We're going to have a celebration. Spoiler alert. We are going to have a live stream when we hit 500 subscribers. So I'm really excited for that. But I'll announce that at a later date. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you, and we will see you tomorrow.